I'm Natalie Calvé, and I have Nicole with me today. Say hi, Nicole. Hi, Nicole. She's going to be helping me with comments on the broadcast. So if you have any questions about anything that we're going over, or you want to make a comment, there should be a place on the right side of the screen where you're able to enter some comments. If we can, we'll respond to those during the broadcast. If not, we can leave some comments or responses for you on our Facebook group, Alamo, so in time after the broadcast. So what we're going to be doing is coming to you live once a month on the third Saturday of each month, and we're going to be bringing free projects as well as some tips and tricks on how we completed those projects. The project that we have for you today is from Fab Shop Hop. If you're not familiar with them, they have an online shop hop every month, and you have an opportunity to win free prizes. So when you're on the website getting the pattern, make sure you read up about the shop hop. So this is the project that we're going to be working on. It's a pillowcase for springtime. So now that hopefully the snow has melted in most parts of the country, we thought it would be fun to do something for spring. And I really enjoy doing pillowcases. I think they're a nice, quick, easy gift for people, or just something fun to change up your room a little bit if you want to. So we will be going through step by step what we did when we put the project together. After the broadcast, you can go to fabshophop.com and look for the pattern. The pattern is called Hearts and Flowers Pillowcase, and it really has a lot of great instructions, step-by-step pictures, and ways to show you how to complete all the steps in the project. So let me show it once again. We've just had a few more people join us. So this is what we're going to be doing today, is the Hearts and Flowers Pillowcase. So first, I want to share a note about the fabric requirements. The pattern calls for a 1/4 yard of 4 different fabrics for the 4-patch squares that you see here. All you really need are 4 pieces that are 2 1/4 inch wide by 20 inches long. So if you have some extra strips laying around that you'd like to use, those would work just as well. Or you could purchase a fat 1/8 or a fat 1/4, and those would also work for the project. So the first thing that you're going to do is create the 4 patches, and if you've not done those before, it's pretty simple, just sewing the 2 strips of each of the fabrics together. The one thing to watch out for, if you're not in the habit of doing 4 patches, pay attention to how you're assembling all of the units, making sure that you've always got sewing your seam on the same line. So the first time I did it, I ended up with 4 squares with fabrics arranged one way, and 4 squares with it arranged a different way. So just pay attention to what you're doing, unless it doesn't matter if you want your 4 patches to be completely random. So after you get the 4 patches assembled, you're going to make 8 of those. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to attach a triangle to those. You'll be cutting squares and cutting the squares into triangles, and you'll attach the triangle pieces to the square. So it's going to come out, I guess you maybe call that a parallelogram. And what you're going to want to do is line up one of the short sides of the triangle with a side of the 4 patch, and then you'll just have a little bit of fabric sticking off the end that you'll trim when you're finished with that. So once you've got those units joined, you're going to piece them together so they go like this. So I have one piece right here connected to the next piece here, and you're going to continue putting those together until you have 8 of these, and you'll end up with a long strip of the squares that are on point. After you've got those assembled, you're going to applique on the hearts and the flowers. So I'm going to share a tip with you. I actually learned this from Carol Morrissey of Oh Carol Designs. I had the fortune of going on a quilting cruise with her a few years ago. And if you haven't done that before, I strongly recommend you look for an opportunity to do so. Carol is going to be teaching on another cruise next year. If you're interested in some more information, let me know, and we'll share that information with you. But this is one of those things of, you know, gosh, why didn't I think of that? So what I have here is, hopefully you can see it, there's not too much glare, but I've got my heart traced on the paper for the adhesive, and that's ironed to the fabric. And before I actually cut out the heart shape, I'm just going to peel the fabric back just enough so that I've pulled away a little bit of the pattern piece there. So once I've done that and I cut the piece out, then the paper is loose from the applique piece in a certain area. So it makes it real easy to grab the paper and then pull it off of a design. So you're not fighting with the edges of the fabric and the paper trying to get those apart. So once you have that done, you'll end up, this is a strip, I've gone ahead and sewn the strip together, but you'll have a long strip of fabric, and then you're going to iron the applique pieces on where the squares meet each other, and then applique around the edges of the flowers and the hearts. Once those are done with your long strip, you'll have either a heart or a flower left over. So it really depends on which one you started with. So when you have all of those put together, you're going to join two ends of the strip that you've created, and it will end up creating just essentially a loop. And then you can attach the final applique piece and get that applique on there before you do the next step. So the next thing that we do after you've got the piece connected, they've got you attaching a binding for one of the sides of the band of the pillowcase. So you cut the instructions. I don't think that they were very specific on this. You need a piece that's 1 1/4 inches wide. It really only needs to be about 1 inch longer than the total distance or the circumference of the band of this. So when I sewed this together and I measure it from side to side, I end up with 19.5 inches, so it's 39 inches around by the time I, double that. So I've got a strip that's 1 1/4 inches, and what they have you do is just fold it under 1/4 inch and then attach it right side to right side around the band. Start sewing here, go all the way around. I'll have a little piece left over that I'm just going to sew past where I'm folded. I'm going to wrap this around so that this raw edge under here isn't really going to matter. So that actually creates this band right here, this finished edge of the cuff of the pillowcase. So after you've got that done, then what we're going to do, first thing you need to do is, the instructions are in there for how big you need to cut the fabric for the body of the pillowcase. You're going to sew along the bottom and along the edge, and then turn the pillowcase right side out. So I've got it right side out with the raw edges of the end of the pillowcase here. I'm going to slide this on. Let me back up a minute. Before you do that, we've actually got to finish this. I didn't do a sample of this finished, but you're going to press this essentially towards the raw edge of the binding for it, wrap it around, and then stitch it down. So you've got essentially a binding band on the outer band for this. So once that's done, I'm going to slip this around the pillowcase, and I'm going to match up my raw edges. So this is the unfinished edge of the top of the pillowcase that I'm lining up with the edge of the pillowcase here, raw edges. And one thing I forgot to mention is when they, in cutting the, determining how big you need to cut the piece for the body of the pillowcase, they have you measure your finished with total finished distance around the pillowcase, and that's how you know how wide you make it. I'm going to do that same step for finishing this off. I found the instructions for the finishing to be a little bit confusing. I wasn't able to follow them, but I'm sure somebody else can. But I thought of a different way of doing that, so we'll go over that in just a minute. But what I'm going to do here is slip the band around the pillowcase, and then I'm just going to stitch 1/4 of an inch around so that I've secured the cuff of the pillowcase to the case itself. So then to finish it off, like I said, the instructions give a little bit different way to do that, but I've taken the same technique of figuring out what my total distance is around the pillowcase, and I've taken the 2 1/4 inch strip that you use for the binding, and I've just sewn it together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and made it a continuous piece. So to finish this off, I am going to fold these in half with wrong sides together, just as if you were binding a quilt. And then I'm going to take it and pin it to my edge of, I don't have these pinned, so they're not wanting to stay together. Okay. So I've got these basted together, and then I'm just going to add the binding piece, sew it along the top, around the outside with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I can just flip it over and bind it just the way I would a quilt. You can hand stitch it if you like to. I just machine stitched it, and that made it very easy to do that way. So that is the pillowcase pattern. And again, the pattern is on fabshophop.com. And if you have any questions about how we did that, you can always come back to the video and watch it later. Do we have any questions or comments? So vertical, okay, so I think we're good. So let me share with you just a couple other projects that we've offered previously, some free projects that we've put together. These are available through us if you just email us. I don't have a way to post the pattern out there for you to be able to download it, but if you're interested in the patterns themselves, just let us know. The first one is one that I like to call Make It Fun. And as you can see, I'll pull it back as far as I can. It's very busy. This is a great quilt maybe for kids. I was really kind of surprised at the number of people that were really interested in this pattern. So this was, I was looking for a way to be able to show off some larger prints. And so what I did is I cut some 8-inch squares of the prints, and then I just made some various blocks out of half square triangles. So the pattern includes the instructions for making half square triangles. I think most people know how to do that. If you have a template or a tool or a way that makes that simple for you, there are several in here. But what I did, for me, the thing was I was looking for something that was just very random. And I think you can definitely see that that's the case here. One thing I learned when I did this is pay attention to scale. So most of my blocks you can see are large prints. And one of the fabrics I chose is actually a smaller print. So I think next time I make it, I'll try to make sure that all of the prints that I'm using are, similar in scale. So if you like this one, you can just email us. This one's called Make It Fun. And that is it for the free projects that we have today.
We do have a question about the website for the pillowcase again.
Yes.
She just needs the web address.
Okay, the web address is www.fabshophop.com. And there's a section, if you look across the address bar on the top, there's a place where you can find free patterns. And we thank you for joining us today. And as promised, we have exclusive savings for people who join us on our live broadcasts. So all weekend long, you can get 20% off of your entire order. So we'll have a coupon code loaded, and it's FIRST20. So after you're done shopping and you've purchased everything you want to, you can enter that coupon code, and you'll get 20% off your entire order. We'd love to hear from you. What types of projects would you like to see during Alamo Sew in Time? And if you have ideas that you'd share, we welcome that as well. Don't forget about our Facebook group, Alamo Sew in Time. If you haven't joined, make sure you do so. And if you have better ways or different ways even to do what we're doing here, we'd love to hear from you. In my opinion, there's very, very few things where there's a right way or a wrong way to do it. So our goal is really to share ideas and connect with people. And we're really glad that you joined us today, and we hope to see you again next month. Have a great day.